When
Dispatch
police
said the call
knocked
came from
on the
this house.
Henderson
Copy
family's
that. Any
front
description of
door,
the suspect?
they believed they were responding to a routine missing person case. A worried husband, a missing wife, a quiet suburban neighborhood. But within 48 hours, the entire case would collapse, not because of forensic evidence, not because of surveillance footage, but because of one sentence, spoken by an 8-year-old child. And what that child revealed would lead investigators somewhere no one expected. This is the story of how a simple bedtime question unraveled a carefully constructed lie, and how the smallest voice in the house became the most important witness. The Hendersons lived in what many described as a picture-perfect neighborhood: tree-lined streets, weekend barbecues, good schools. Mark Henderson worked in property management, quiet, reserved, dependable. His wife, Laura, worked part-time at a dental clinic. Friends described her as warm, but lately distant. They had one daughter, 8 years old, bright, soft-spoken, observant. To outsiders, nothing seemed wrong, but neighbors later admitted something interesting. The garage light had been staying on unusually late the week Laura disappeared, and that detail would matter. On a Tuesday morning at 6:42 a.m., Mark called 911. His voice was steady, too steady. He reported that Laura hadn't come to bed the night before. He assumed she had gone for a drive to clear her head. When asked if they argued, he paused, then said, "Nothing serious." Police arrived within 20 minutes. Mark greeted them outside, not inside. Psychologically, this is subtle but important. People who are genuinely worried often pull officers toward the last known location. Mark kept distance. His breathing remained controlled, no vocal tremors, no urgency spikes. Statistically, in high-stress missing spouse calls, emotional dysregulation is common. Mark displayed none. But that alone wasn't proof of anything, yet. Police searched the house. Everything looked clean, too clean. Laundry running, counters wiped, recent trash taken out. The garage smelled faintly of cleaning chemicals. Mark explained, "I spilled oil last weekend." Officers noticed a section of the concrete floor looked slightly darker than the rest, but luminol test would need to confirm anything. For now, there was no body, no visible struggle, just a missing woman and a husband who appeared strangely composed. Standard protocol in missing person cases includes speaking gently with children. An officer sat down with the Henderson daughter in the living room. Soft tone, simple questions. "What did Mommy do last night?" "She made pasta." "What happened after dinner?" "She and Daddy talked in the garage." That detail caught attention. "What were they talking about?" "I don't know." Then came the question that changed everything. Did anything unusual happen before bedtime? The girl hesitated, then said quietly, "Daddy told me we're not allowed in the garage anymore." The officer asked why. She responded, "Because Mommy made a big mess." Pause. Children rarely fabricate specific environmental restrictions, and new household rules often follow significant events. That statement triggered a second, more thorough search of the garage. Forensics returned. Luminol was applied to the garage floor. The entire darker patch lit up, indicating the presence of cleaned biological material. Underneath a workbench, investigators found fibers matching Laura's clothing from the night before. More troubling, in the outdoor trash bin, beneath fresh bags, officers found blood-soaked paper towels. DNA testing later confirmed the blood belonged to Laura. Mark was brought in for questioning. Detectives began calmly. They did not accuse him. They let him talk. Mark maintained the story. Laura left. She was stressed, Maybe she needed space. Then, detectives introduced the child statement. "We spoke with your daughter." For the first time, Mark's posture shifted. Micro-expression analysis later showed jaw tightening, increased blinking, slight throat swallow, stress indicators. They pressed gently. "Why can't she go in the garage?" Mark replied, "It's dangerous, tools everywhere." But detectives countered, "That's not what she told us." Silence. In interrogation psychology, silence forces cognitive strain. Mark filled the silence quickly. He began over-explaining, classic deception response. People lying under pressure often add unnecessary details, repeat phrases, avoid emotional language, shift blame subtly. Mark began suggesting Laura was unstable. That pivot, attacking the missing person's character, is a known distancing tactic. Detectives increased pressure, presented forensic findings, the luminol reaction, the fibers, the DNA. Mark asked for water, then requested a lawyer, but the damage was done. 3 days later, police executed a warrant on a wooded property Mark managed for work. Freshly disturbed soil was found near a drainage area. Laura's body was recovered. The medical examiner determined she died from blunt force trauma. Investigators believe an argument escalated in the garage. Mark struck her with a heavy tool, then attempted to clean the scene. But he underestimated two things: forensic science and his daughter. Children operate differently than adults. They don't calculate consequences the same way, struggle to maintain rehearsed narratives, notice environmental changes instantly. The new garage rule stood out to her, and because she wasn't coached on the cover story, she told the truth without realizing it. Mark Henderson was later convicted of second-degree murder. But what makes this case unforgettable isn't just the crime. It's the reminder that truth doesn't always come from sophisticated technology. Sometimes it comes from the quietest voice in the room. And in this case, that voice changed everything.